Hello everyone, thank you for joining me here on episode 13 of Vegan Police TV. This episode is going to be dedicated to pulling apart the thought experiments that are normally put out as justification for consuming animal products by the misnomered Vegan Strategist. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. Now, the thought experiment, now Tobias has a couple of thought experiments, or gotchas, as I like to call them, that he puts out there to try and supposedly to bring about a discussion about when it is acceptable for a vegan to consume animal products. Now, the purpose of this one is to go through and unpack it and prove, or not prove, as to show where his thought experiments don't actually apply in the real world. So, the one I'm going to tackle in this episode is his one on going to a friend's place and they make lasagna, and then you find out that the lasagna, the pasta that was used, has egg in it. So the whole way that Tobias frames this thought experiment is that, you know, you've got a friend who's never cooked vegan before, so they've gone out, they've brought vegan suitable margarine, all this other stuff, made the lasagna, they've got the whole vegan suitable cheese, pardon me, and everything like that. Then as you're about to sit down to the meal, that you realise that the pasta's got egg in it. What do you do? Now, do you refuse to eat the pasta and run the risk, or if you refuse to eat the pasta, then the host will never go vegan because they look at you as one of what Tobias quotes unquote crazy vegans, and he runs around with his arms in the air and all that sort of stuff? Or do you consume the animal product? Do you consume the pasta, the lasagna that contains the pasta with the egg in it? So where that falls over and isn't really practicable in the real world is that I don't know who there would be that, if you've got a friend that's, hey, I'm willing to try this vegan cooking stuff for a go, what do I buy? As the vegan yourself, because they're doing something for you, who wouldn't turn around and say, oh yeah, you buy this, hey, these are the brands of pasta that you can buy, the best one for value for money is the to use a brand up here, the macro organic one, because those lasagna sheets are whatever, it ends up being cheaper and the cooks better and all that sort of stuff. Who wouldn't say that? With Tobias, he likes to frame his thought experiments where there's no social interaction between the host, and he's done that with one of his other ones as well. He's done that with his there's no interaction between the vegan and the host until the point in time where you sit down and eat the lasagna. Now, I'm not going to be nitpicky and say that most lasagna is dried and it's only fresh pasta that has egg in it, so I'm not going to be picky on that bit. But just to go through what's being discussed with this thought experiment that he likes to use to catch people out and give them every excuse or every available reason that they can to justify consuming animal products. For me, that doesn't sit well because, as I said, there's so many other things. I know I've gone out to someone's place for dinner and they've said, oh, we're going to do this, that and everything. It's okay, so please be aware of this. I'm gone probably a bit over the top and said, hey, these are the things that are suitable for when you're making a meal for a vegan. These are the suitable ingredients. These are the sauces. There is a fake fish sauce that's available, so you can go and use that. There's just all sorts of things that can be done, except Tobias doesn't look at that. He just looks at it cut and dried, saying this is the way we do it. It's either this way or it's not at all, and if you choose to change the rules or the parameters of this thought experiment, then you're not playing the game fair. You don't understand the thought experiment process. Well, the idea of thought experiments is to give someone a situation that they may face in the real world, and how would they face it? How would they solve it? What would they do? If it's someone that I didn't know and they'd made lasagna, 9 times out of 10, or probably 9 times out of 10, I'd actually refuse to eat it. I'd make up some story of, I'm going on a bit of a detox or a cleanse or whatever other BS excuse that you want to make up. People are so used to that. Oh no, so and so can't have that because they're going on a cleanse or they're going on a juice fast or whatever, or just make up. There's so many ways that you can get out of consuming the pasta, the lasagna that contains egg in the pasta. So to buy, and that will save face, and it all depends on your ability as a person and a member of society to put across how you feel about things. Anyway, flying off on a different tangent, getting distracted by traffic here. I'm not a big fan of thought experiments because I think that there's so many variables in the real world that no abstract black and white thought experiment can actually even begin to challenge, get the person to think, oh, okay, how would I go in this? You can say for the thought experiment, yeah, I would, because I would consume the pasta with the egg in it, because you're never going to face it. So what does it matter? Does that make you not vegan because you've said you would in a fictitious thought experiment? Well, if the Tobias, being the one that loves his stickler and loves being dogmatic and purist with his thought experiments and his reasonings and his strategies and all that, he may say so. I wouldn't, because it's a thought experiment. If it comes to the real world, well, that's a different kettle of fish. As I said, different kettle of fish. That's not a good thing to say, Cameron. Anyway, that's a good. That's a whole different scenario. That's something different to think about. So this is the thing: is that every situation is different. You may actually turn around and say, "Hey, yep, you know what? I'll to the person and say, I'll help make you a lasagna. We'll do this or we'll do that. Let's, why don't you save your trouble? I'll make it at home, so then I'll just bring it in. I'll give it to you the day before, so all you have to do is heat it in the oven," or something like that. There's so many different ways that you can ensure that what you're doing is you are consuming food that's suitable for a vegan. Now, think about the many different ways. This is why the vegan strategist is misnomered. He is not a vegan strategist. All he is doing is pushing his anti-vegan message. And what we need to do as a community is stop giving this person stop giving him airtime, stop asking him to talk anywhere. And what we are is that we're vegan for, if it's for animal rights reasons, we are vegan for the rights of other animals, to have them shown equal consideration. Tobias thinks that's dogmatic and purist and whatever else, despite what he says in the different news articles, because his view and his position changes depending on who's talking to him. So now I think he's part of the effective altruist movement or whatever that is. So I think that's just a nice warm and fuzzy term for someone that sits on their backside and does nothing because they want to be an effective altruist and this and that and everything else. So anyway, before I go on another rant and jump on the soapbox again, that's my thought on that gotcha by the misnomered vegan strategist. There is another one that I'm going to talk about. I spoke about his $100,000 to eat a piece of steak. I spoke about that one earlier. The next one that I'm going to be talking about is his it used to be bland vegan burger. Now it's awful vegan burger compared to tasty veggie burger. So that'll be coming up in a later episode. So thank you for watching Vegan Police TV. Thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, whatever else. Leave your comments on veganpolice.tv/episode 13. And I look forward to having you join me on the next episode. So thanks for watching and bye for now.